And what is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another live stream edition of the Fitz Take Podcast. I'm your guy, Fitz. He's your guy, E-Money Elijah Nixon, man. It's a Thursday night. Some football going on as the 49ers and the Seahawks are about to wrap up pretty soon. But before we get into that, man, like, there's a lot of stuff going on in the pop culture, the Saints, and in the sports media world as well. So yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting as we break down all these takes. If you are in the chat right now and you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit the bell down below. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, I'm gonna put the link down here in the chat. I get that pulled up. You ready for this one, E?
Man, I'm super ready. I can't wait to get in this one. We got a couple topics, especially that Spencer Rattler topic. We'll get to that pretty soon. I can't wait to get a couple of topics down. But I think we last time we talked was probably a week ago after the Power finale.
Yeah, it was something like that. That was a really good one. Y'all turned us up big time. If you didn't go back and watch it on the Fitz Take Podcast YouTube channel, where we talked about the series finale for Power Book 2 Ghost, and we got a chance to talk about all of that stuff. So, yeah, like Elijah said, man, let's go ahead and hop into it right off top. Spencer Rattler is the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints going into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game on Sunday. It is mainly because Derek Carr has an oblique tear, and he's dealing with that injury as of right now. Elijah, you were the guy to kind of call this. You were looking at it more from a talent standpoint that Rattler would go in and get the opportunity to play, but it's because of an injury that it happens. What are you expecting out of him? How well do you think Spencer Rattler will do against the Bucs on Sunday?
I think he'll do fairly well. The Saints defense is, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. It's like in the middle of the pack, but they make plays to get the ball back, so they give an opportunity to score. Derek Carr started off the season on fire during that first two games where they won 2 games in a row. But then after that, you see him kind of slow down. I'm not sure what was going on. I don't want to blame the play calling. I don't want to say it was necessarily Derek Carr. But you can see it was the offense wasn't, clicking how it did the first 2 weeks when it was the highest scoring offense in the league. But I'm not saying I'm happy that Spencer Rattler is in because of Derek Carr injury. I did say that Spencer Rattler will be playing. But at the same time, I think that you can get a little bit more aggressive. Not saying Derek Carr wasn't throwing the ball to Shaheed, but you can switch it up with Chris Olave. Chris Olave wasn't getting much love with Carr in the center, so hopefully Spencer spread the ball out. Now, this is me being me. If I'm Spencer Rattler, my first throw, I'm dropping the top. If it's anything under 30 yards, can it, Dennis? Can it? I'm dropping the top. I am dropping the top. I'm going over the safety head. I'm throwing it to the bleachers. I'm throwing it to the stands, baby. Because at the end of the day, I felt disrespected that you dressed Jake instead of dressing me. And I know that you only dress 2 quarterbacks. Saints only dress 2 quarterbacks to have an extra roster spot. But for you to dress Jake instead of me, I'm dropping the top.
But why do you think it was that they felt? Well, obviously it's because Jake Haener, won the job in camp. But what ultimately do you think it was that kind of led to the decision for them to say, like, all right, Jake, you won the job in camp, but we feel like Spencer is going to give us a better chance to win it?
I want to say arm talent. Simply, I think that's what it really is. I think it's arm talent. Spencer has, you got to remember, he was actually balling in Oklahoma and was starting ahead of Caleb Williams with the arm talent with Lincoln Riley. He played very, very well. It was just that Caleb came and just took the job from right under him, and he went to South Carolina and did some good things over there as well. But I think when it comes all in all, I think his arm talent is what is on display there. And I think that's going to be kind of fun to watch because in a way, they run the same similar patterns that San Francisco run. But the thing is, though, this offensive coordinator never had a guy that can have the arm talent that Spencer Rattler had. Think about it. He was working with Brock Purdy, and then that offensive coordinator worked a little bit with Jimmy Garoppolo. Spencer Rattler has better arm talent than both of those guys. So I'm interested to see how it goes, man. I'm not saying they turn around and beat Super Bowl contenders. I'm not saying that they, be up there with the Chiefs as the best team in the league. But I do think with him under center, they're going to have some things to think about when Derek Carr returns from injury, because I think Spencer's going to play that one.
Yeah, when you think about it, like anytime you miss out, or at least you lose your starting quarterback, it always kind of puts you behind the eight ball because you don't game plan for your backup. And anytime that happens, you get an opportunity to put a guy in that normally isn't starting. But the thing about it is, like, he's not normally the person that you're calling plays for. And so the game plan might shift just a little bit. It might change just a little bit because of that. But I think the main thing for Spencer to be successful is that he is going to have to get the ball out quick. We know that the Saints offensive line right now is very much depleted. Eric McCoy is still out with injury. Cesar Ruiz was out last week. I don't know if he's going to be back healthy. Taysom Hill was out last week. So you look at those three pieces in itself, and like we've talked about before, like, because Taysom Hill is not a part of the offense right now, somebody else is going to have to step up outside of Alvin Kamara because, the defense is going to key off on him. Like, they are prepared to know Kamara is going to get 20 to 30 touches per game and get an opportunity to try to, slow him down. But, like, if you don't have another piece to be able to hit him with, like, all right, yes, you have Shaheed, but that's only when you can hit him on the play action, when you can go deep to him. Outside of that, like, you got to find another way to generate offense. So you got to find another way to get points going, to help yourself to be in that position. So I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be not necessarily the takeover for Spencer Rattler. I don't think that it's going to be a moment where he is becoming the Saints starting quarterback fully. But it's going to be a good start. It's going to be a chance for us to really see what he's made of. If he's ready for the limelight of being a starting quarterback and all the things that come with it. And like, I was looking at it, bro, because I can't remember. Oh, it was because I was looking at how they were talking about Devontae Adams not having a quarterback. And I was trying to see, like, what was the order of quarterbacks being drafted. And it was 6 of them in the first round, Bo Nix being the last one. And then the next quarterback was not drafted until it was Spencer Rattler in the 5th round. So, like, the Saints got to steal. And if it's very similar to when Dak Prescott came in as a rookie quarterback and he took over when Tony Romo got hurt. It's kind of like whatever he does as a positive, you can take that and you can utilize it to your advantage because you basically get in the same production or better production for a whole lot cheaper because Derek Carr is on your payroll right now, costing you $100 million, whereas Spencer Rattler is on your payroll under a 5th-year contract. So it'll be interesting to see, man. Tampa Bay is going to blitz the heck out of them. We know that Todd Bowles likes to bring pressure, so he's going to see the blitz a lot. So however the Saints can be able to counter and pick up the blitz, how they can, throw screens over the top of their heads and things of that nature to beat against the blitz. I think that's when we'll really be able to see, like I said, what Spencer Rattler is made of. Who do you think will be, I guess, kind of the unsung hero or the security blanket for him this early on once he gets that start?
Happy you like that? Because I tried to make a trade for him on my fantasy team earlier. Chris Olave. I think that's gonna be the security blanket. I heard him rave about him in the press conference, and it's only funny because I try to make a trade. I try to trade Keenan Allen and Christian Kirk because I was like, man, this guy only gave you 3 points last week. You might as well give him up. So then the guy countered soon and said, give me Malik Neighbors. But that's not happening. So I did not counter. They tried to give him Jameson Williams, and he countered back and said, no, I want Malik Neighbors. I said, we're done talking. But I was like, I think Chris Olave is going to be that guy. I think he's going to see more targets. I think because honestly, he can run the whole route tree from a short to the medium to a deep aspect, and I think that's going to open up things also for Shaheed because you can intertwine them. And we was talking about this earlier. Like, I'm not saying that Chris Olave has the same speed as Shaheed. He doesn't, but I do think that you can. If I ran Shaheed to the right side and ran a 9 route, I could come in that same formation with Chris Olave and run a 9 route on the left side because it's just you could work you can intertwine the two, like you can mix those guys up. So with Spencer though, I think Chris Olave is going to see. I don't think Cooper Cup kind of targets, but I think he would get about a good 8 targets a game from now on until Derek Carr come back.
Yeah, I think however you look at it, somebody is going to have to step up. I had said about it, I think it was the last episode that we had, taped episode that we had, and I mentioned about Jawan Johnson, how he hasn't gotten a whole lot of the touches of what he was normally having when you had other quarterbacks in the mix. And he proved that he can be a security blanket. I think if they can build some rapport up, especially if my man Taysom Hill is not playing on Sunday, we'll be able to see how all of that looks. But I think Jawan Johnson is the guy that you're looking for that can really be able to make a name for himself. Because like I said, we know that Alvin Kamara is going to get his touches. He's going to be able to do what he needs to do to make plays for his team. But outside of him, like it's going to have to be other guys that are going to have to step up. So we'll see. The New Orleans Saints will face off with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday. It's a noon kickoff. Your boy will be in the house. We got hooked up with some tickets, so we're gonna pull up and we're gonna see if this is a Spencer Rattler legacy game. If it is, we'll be talking about how he got the opportunity to take over and he never gave the job back. And that's something that will be very, very interesting to see how that topic goes. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, if you are not a subscriber already, if you're looking on YouTube, hit the bell down below and subscribe to the channel. If you're on Facebook, go down there in the comments and hit that link and subscribe for us as well. We did hit 100 subscribers. We talked about, we were going to give out a $50 gift card. We're going to reveal the winner a little bit later. And I do want to let y'all know that we did use a wheel, a little randomizer name picker online. I put everybody's name in there to get it picked out to see how all it would turn out. So we do have a winner for that. But y'all go ahead and subscribe anyway, man. Like we got 111. We'll probably be doing some more giveaways later down the line as we continue to grow this channel. But we truly appreciate all 111 of y'all that have been a part of the journey because without y'all, none of this stuff gets done. So moving forward in our show, J. Cole, Jermaine Cole, over, I think it was late into last night, drops Port Antonio, where he is able to address the beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake and why he bowed out gracefully during that beef. He originally dropped the song. I can't think of the name of it. I think was it 7-minute drill, 7-minute, something like that. He originally dropped it. And then he pulled it off all streaming platforms, which I've never seen anybody do that before. Like that mug literally disappeared. Like you clicked on it and it did not open. So he drops a song addressing a lot of things. There's a lot of great lyricism, and I'm gonna pull up the lyrics so I can kind of look back over it. But I listened to it twice today. Elijah, for you, like for him to step in at this point in the juncture of it after, Meet the Grams, They Not Like Us, and all of the ones back and forth that Drake and K-Dot had, did it have any value to it for him to say something now at this point in the rivalry or the beef, so to speak?
I want to say yeah, because he didn't attack anybody. All he said was, this is why I dropped out. This is why I think that because he knew it was going to go further than what it was, just a lyrical battle. And some of the words he did say in there that I really did like, basically just saying I would have lost a bro and gained a foe for no reason. Like, you know, I like it, man. I heard it like 6 times today. I'm not gonna lie. It was, bro. I like it, man, because not on we could go to the lyrical side, but just the part where he just talking about the beef between Kendrick and Drake. He was just saying the mainstream wanted it to fill their pockets up. He didn't want nothing to do with that. If it was just a lyrical battle, he said he wouldn't have lost, which some people have problems with, saying why you drop out. Then I don't see it. He's just saying he's got confidence in himself. It's who walks into anything and say I'm gonna lose. Like that's one thing I don't get. You're not gonna walk at anything and say you're gonna lose. So I don't have a problem with that. I just think with J. Cole coming in and saying something now, I think it's actually right, because to me, I think he was the winner of the whole thing. Because to be honest with you, Kendrick and Drake both got something. Yeah, they both got something that they really don't like. Kendrick wins this beef and don't like the attention, but all the attention on him to wait to drop this album, to be in the Super Bowl. He's not an attention guy. He really don't want the attention. Drake, on the other hand, who lost the beef, got aired out for something that may or may not be true, with him having a daughter or messing around with underage girls. That's going to stick with him for the rest of his life. He don't like, and that's the only person that came unscathed was J. Cole, because if he drops this album tomorrow, The Fall Off, everybody's going to still listen to it no matter what. He in the same predicament that he was in before this beef, and now he's in the same predicament he is after this beef. So I don't have a problem with that at all, with Jermaine Cole coming in and putting some lyrics down, because I like the song to be honest, and I really do like him as an artist. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking over some of the lyrics. I know one of the things he said was like, he saw his guys go at it, and he walked away with seeing their blood splattered on him. And it's just like, it goes to show the level of maturity. Like, I don't know, what is Drake and K Dot and all them boys got to be approaching 40, right? Like, I get there in an industry, where all you have is your name, all you have is your pride and all that stuff like that. But J. Cole, for him to bow out the way that he did at that time, I get why he did it. And now, he just came out and lyrically told us why he did it. He just decided to put it all in a nice little song, package it up, put it on wrap a bow on it and all that stuff, and just put himself in a position to, again, prove why he's one of the greatest lyricists in it. I do agree with you what you said about, all of those guys gaining something that they truly don't want. Kendrick is not a attention seeker, but according to Cole in there, he made claims that Kendrick did pay some algorithm guys to try to blow his stuff up. I don't know how true that is, or how much validity that actually has to anything, or how real that is, but he put it out there in the atmosphere. So I don't know. Maybe Kendrick comes with some kind of rebuttal saying like, nah, I ain't on none of that fake stuff or whatever. Maybe he's in the studio right now cooking up something to try to figure out how to respond to that. But I don't know, man. I honestly think like everybody gained a piece out of this. J. Cole got a piece of mind. Kendrick got a piece of the limelight, and Drake got a piece of scrutiny. Like, everybody got a piece of something in this. So I don't know. I'm really interested to see more so what music we get after this as a result of this. Do you think that Kendrick will come back with a response? Do you think Drake will say anything? Because I'm pretty sure that Drake called J. Cole a coward at some point in all of this, because he bowed out. Yet J. Cole was like, hey, bro, I still got love for you. You're my boy. I rock with you. You helped me a lot. You know what I'm saying? Do you think anybody comes back with a response at all?
I think Drake does. Possibly a Kendrick, but I think Drake do. Just for the simple fact that To me, actually, I think this helps Drake more than it helps Kendrick. And I only say that because Drake been throwing songs out there and never, most of them haven't been sticking.
I
You
ain't
know,
listening to not one. I can't, bro. All them songs that came out,
what I'm saying.
I ain't tapped in either. I don't know. And I love Drake music, bro.
Like he's been
I
throwing
haven't
songs
tapped
out
in.
there and it's not sticking. And this is why I think that if Drake approached this thing right and write a response saying, maybe Cole is right in the sense of let me just go ahead and let me put my true emotions on it. I don't want to talk about females. I don't want to talk about none of that. I want to talk about myself and what can I gain from here on out. And because Drake got bars too. If he writing them or not, Drake got bars too. So if he comes back at the right way and do it the right way, I think that this could benefit Drake more than Kendrick. And I think Kendrick's going to be Kendrick. I don't think Kendrick really responds to this. I think he's really just focused on album mode because if he responds to this, again, this is another thing that's going to bring him attention that he doesn't want. I think that it's more so it could benefit Drake more than anything.
Yeah, but like, do you think that is this like calculated? Do you think J. Cole has been like sitting on this for a while? Do you think that this is something that's been in the works for some time? Like, or this was just something he went in the studio, recorded last night, and was like, "Drop it, let's release the Kraken." Do you think that that's how that was?
I don't know. A part of me saying that he probably got the fall off is coming soon because of this. Then
Yeah,
a part of me just saying he just want to get his emotions out
yeah, man. Like we said, we look. The real winners out of all of this is us because we got some phenomenal music. I mean, I don't think our generation had a true beef like this, a rap beef like this ever. I don't think so. Um, and I've said it to people in other conversations. Um, I've said it to people in other conversations, but I think that they not like us in about 20 more years will be something that we'll look back as one of the better, if not the best, diss tracks that we've ever seen of its time. Just because, like, bro, you put them on and everybody started sea walking. Like I ain't never seen in complete unison. I've never seen this much unity come together behind this song where he is basically just curb stomping on top of Drake's forehead the entire time. Like it's gonna be played at cookouts. It's gonna be played in the club. It's gonna be played everywhere for years and years and years and years and years to come. Um, and so like we won a lot out of this by getting some phenomenal music and just getting a chance to see some of the best lyricists, some of the biggest artists in the game go toe to toe. But like we said, we know for sure.
there. Can you imagine if all three was on one song?
I guess we'll never know. Do you know how crazy that would be? Do you know how crazy it would be if Kendrick, after all of this, brought them boys out at the Super Bowl and premiered a new song? That would literally just break the internet. That would destroy the internet to Smith. That would blow it to smithereens, bro. I couldn't imagine. It's probably not gonna happen. In fact, I know it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But just the thought of it,
Yeah, I agree, man.
cool.
That's not happening. Bro. That's not
It's not happening.
They
But
said some
thought
things.
of it. The thought of it would be super cool. That's for sure. Uh, so yeah, like we said, J. Cole drops Port Antonio. We would play it on here, but we like our page and we do not want to get flagged. Uh, so y'all go check that out. Y'all go check that out. Listen to it. Listen to it a couple of times. Listen to some of the lyrics that J. Cole was spitting there. Brother was really just putting out there how he felt about the situation. And that's what it's all about. When you're an artist, you have the opportunity to voice your opinion and say how you feel about some things, and he was able to do that. So I know the 49ers game is still going on, but it's all but over. So we will skip ahead and talk about the next topic, which, like we talked about in the sports world, sports media world, Cam Newton, former NFL MVP, former Heisman Trophy winner, former national champion, all of those things like that, and now a content creator full time, entrepreneur, and all those things like that. signed a deal with ESPN in which he will be a regular contributor to the flagship show or the morning flagship show known as First Take. Stephen A. Smith is the face of that show, and he has added so many different contributors to it. It's kind of just a revolving door, and I feel like First Take has become a place where you can not only get your face out there and say things, but you can also promote your own brand. You know, you look at Ryan Clark was one of the very first guys to be a part of that trend with them starting to pivot with him, Fred Taylor, and Channing Crowder. Shout out to those guys for the great content that they are producing. And then you add Shannon Sharp in there, Club Shay Shay, and Nightcap. And now you add Cam Newton in there. He is 4th and 1 and Funky Friday as well. He is set to make his first appearance tomorrow on First Take when they go out to Tennessee State for a live edition of First Take. I've seen a lot of different opinions about this. I've seen some of the people that are in the journalism world, like ourselves, not be so fond of this because they're like, dang, bro, like, what do you tell the young black men, the young black women that want to be sports commentators? What do you tell them when you see athletes continue to get opportunities and they don't? But then I've also seen people say like, hey, like, brother doing numbers on all of his content. He's been out there. He's earned the opportunity. And he's got the credentials on the field to speak about it. So, Elijah, from your perspective, do you feel like this was a good decision by First Take? How do you feel about it as a business decision? And, how do you feel like this will benefit Cam in the long run?
I think ESPN always give people chances. I remember they gave Robert Griffin a chance on College Game Day. So they do a great job of giving former athletes or retired athletes or athletes in general a job. And I'm happy for Cam. Honestly, I think Cam built that 4 for 1 podcast in the right way. He always got his opinion out there. I think he's connected with the youth a little bit as well. So I think this is a good job for ESPN to make this hire with Cam. Now, like you just said, though, it is a bittersweet thing for journalists like myself, you, other journalists that's out there. If they have that dream of going to an ESPN, Fox, NBC, things of that nature, you're not only competing against other journalists in the world now, but you're competing against athletes that actually played at the highest level. So it does make it a little harder for us to grab those jobs, but there's no ill will and no hate about it because at the end of the day, they got to feed their families too. And you got to just tip your hat to it and respect it. But,
we know he know about some hats now. So, I don't know if you can beat him tipping hats. He might have us beating them hats and tipping and all that stuff.
And speaking of fashion, that's the only thing that's going to hurt my eyes because Cam be wearing things I don't understand. It'd be like some church shoes with a scarf and then a hat with a hole in the middle where his dreads come out. Then it's a Fruit Loop box. You got blue pants. You got
Fruit Loop box is insane.
Yellow. You got it's just nothing matches. But it's his style. I don't understand what can be. I don't know how he looks in the mirror if he sees black and white or if he actually see the colors he got on. But it doesn't. It's not good looking. Hopefully, maybe so. Stephen A. and Shannon Sharp give him heck the way about how you dress. But that's going to do two things. It's going to make him dress worse or probably get better. So I hope he, I hope in that way he just get a fashion. There's nothing wrong with the dreads. Dreads is cool and stuff. But coming out the hat like this.
Yeah, he be going crazy with that.
I ain't gonna lie. I was like, come on, man. Come on.
He be going crazy with that. No, from a business perspective for First Take, I think this was a huge move. I think it was an important move for them to continue to add to their contributors bag. You look at, RC, Marcus Spears, Mad Dog Russo, Paul Feinbaum chips in the middle of the week. Shannon Sharp on Mondays and Tuesdays. Cam now going to be on Fridays. So it's just continuing for them to set themselves as the number one that they've been for so very long. In terms of the landscape of the business, I think that a lot of what gets confused is the line between sports commentary and journalism, which are not the same thing. And I'm speaking to my people that are aspiring to be reporters, that are aspiring to get in this business. If you are trying to be the next Stephen A. Smith, if you're trying to be the next Shannon Sharp, if you're trying to be the next Cam Newton, RC, and all those things like that, um, but you're going into the TV business, like you're going in two completely different directions. You would probably have a better chance, honestly, doing what we're doing right now, like streaming and just building up your brand big enough to where you get noticed and then you get contracted out as a contributor. You're able to voice your own opinions on different platforms, and it doesn't always have to be ESPN. You know, I'm a huge proponent. That was one of the biggest reasons why me and Elijah started this. Like, because we don't like what we do as journalists, TV news anchors, sports reporters, all of those people, is we're there to present the facts, and that's it. It's not up to us to necessarily voice our opinions. The ability that we have to voice our opinions comes at places where we can voice our opinions, which is places like here. Like, it's not necessarily your job to go on air and say, hey, the Saints suck today. That's not your job. Your job is to say the Saints lost to the Buccaneers. That's it. And then it's left up to you as the viewer to be able to talk about it. I once had someone tell me, it's actually a Sports Center anchor, Michael Eves. Shout out to him. And I had a conversation with him, and he was asking me, like, what is your long-term goal of what you want to do? And I was like, man, I want to be the next, a commentator. I want to be on ESPN commentating. And he said something that made a whole lot of sense. He was like, why would a major network hire someone when you can go to someone that has twice the credentials? A Cam Newton has way more credentials than I do. And of course, I played football, but I did not play it at the highest of levels that Cam did. I am not an NFL MVP. I'm not a Heisman Trophy winner. I'm not a national champion. So his credentials, the things that he says, is going to have a whole lot more weight than what I'm saying. And don't nobody, like, it might be like 20 people that legitimately want to watch me versus it might be 20,000 people that legitimately want to watch Cam and pay attention to what he's doing. Heck, we know that's the truth because when he drops a 4th and 1 episode, it's getting 20, 30, 40,000, 100,000 views on it based on, the content that he's putting out there. I don't think that this changes the landscape of the sports media world. I think it's just continuing to build in the direction that it's already on, which is the athletes are the commentators, we're the journalists. So what we would be doing is what an Elle Duncan does, which she does get opportunities to commentate, but those are in sparing reps. Somebody like that is mostly anchoring. What a Michael Eves is doing, what a Stan Verrett is doing, people like that, a Linda Cohn, like people like that are anchors. And then the other side to it, the commentary side to it, I feel like you do that on your own personal platforms or in spaces where you have opportunities to do it, is where you do it at. So I'm with it, man. I'm excited to see what Cam will do. I'm excited for that first outfit tomorrow. I might wake up to watch that. I might DVR it or record it or something to be able to see what he gonna wear, because we know that hat gonna be hatting. And that fit gonna be fitting. We know that's coming for sure. Look, it's gonna be tied up. It's gonna be some kind of way. He gonna go crazy with it, bro. I already know he going crazy with it. Do you think that also in that, like, is this also a move? Because Stephen A. Smith is a executive producer on the show. Right. Is this something by him? Obviously, he doesn't have the final say. There are executives and bosses above him that ultimately make the call to get a Cam Newton, to get a Stephen A. or get a Shannon Sharp there on the show. But do you feel like him getting a lot of pieces where there are going to be charismatic people that are going to give those quote unquote viral moments out there, do you think that's only going to help him in his contract negotiations? Because we seen that brother asking for $100 million.
Yeah. I mean, because the ratings keep on going up. I mean, why not? Why not try to shoot what you can get for? I mean, if you're the executive producer and you're the face of the show, I mean, that's two hats on. That's two hats, basically, essentially.
There you go with them hats again. But you keep talking about them hats. Hey, them hats. Them hats gonna keep coming along now. Go ahead with them hats, boy.
Well, he wears both headgears for the show. For the show. So I just think that you got to ask for more money. ESPN got it. They got it. Especially they're closing deals now. They re-signed with the NBA Finals. They got all SEC games. They got the money, man. They got the money. So I think this is setting Stephen A. Smith up. But I think on a bigger level as well. I think if something happens on that nightly show with Jimmy Kimmel, that's actually an ABC program.
Mm-hmm.
I think I set him up for that too, because he's showing that I can get people on this show, and they excel at it. So if he decided to say, "Hey, I just want to be behind the scenes and work that," and I don't know if this is happening or not. I don't know, but if he decides to say, "I just want to do Jimmy Kimmel," if that's offered, that's going to show that he can produce the show, come in from time to time, give the show away, and do the Jimmy Kimmel thing if he decided to walk away. Because I think Stephen A. Smith will have his hand in Disney when this is all said and done.
Yeah, I have heard people say that because I mean he's done acting on like I think the Young and the Restless and things like that. So he's dabbled in things outside of the sports world. And again, like he has his own platform where he's able to, talk about things however he wants to and however he pleases. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see, man. I think that First Take is just going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to be able to build and continue to be the biggest brand in sports talk shows across the platforms. I mean, outside of First Take, like I think the Pat McAfee show is maybe one of the bigger flagships out of all of the main personalities, and then it's kind of just everybody else after that. Like First Take is the standard, and then it's everybody else. And
Right.
It's been like that for some time now. They've been the number ones, and they're going to continue to be the number one. So Cam Newton signs his deal with ESPN and will appear on First Take every Friday, the first Friday coming up tomorrow when First Take goes on the road at Tennessee State. And so with that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show with our final segment, in which the game is going final now. The 49ers outlast the Seattle Seahawks 36-24. As I was popping in and out looking at this game, the overarching theme that I continued to see was just Brock Purdy's ability to be a polished quarterback, to be able to make plays. He ended up finishing the game 18 of 28, 255 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. That's a QB rating of 129.3. The 49ers were able to rush for 228 yards themselves. They were extremely balanced, 33 rushes to 28 passes. Deebo Samuel had 3 catches, 102 and a touchdown. George Kittle had 5 catches, 58 yards and 2 touchdowns. Shout out fantasy points. And initially it looked like the 49ers was going to blow out the Seahawks, because I think at one point it was 23-3. So that means that Seattle ended up outscoring them 24-12 to close out the game, or 24-13 to close out the game. But when you having to come from behind like that, it just makes it so hard. You're never going to be able to ultimately climb out of that hole, especially when you can't get stops. And then Geno Smith turned the ball over twice. So you factor those two things in, it's always going to be hard. Elijah, both of these teams well as a fan, because you watch all the time, seeing them in your division with your Rams. What do you make of this game? And will the 49ers be another legitimate contender despite, having all the injuries that they're dealing with?
Yeah. I think as long as you got Kyle Shanahan calling plays, you always got a chance with the 49ers. Only thing is, though, what's going to hurt them is that I don't think their defense is as strong. I know they got 2 turnovers today against Geno Smith, but the 49ers don't look the same. I think it's a strong part to their defense, but I also think with their running game because San Fran is the type of team that they want to hold the ball as long as they can, and then they're successful at those drives of getting points, whether it's touchdowns or field goals, more so touchdowns. But the guy that they're really missing is Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey did it all for them last year, whether catching out the backfield, making long runs, and things of that nature. With him not being back there, it shows us a big difference because San Fran is a running back by committee, I should say, right now.
Yeah.
They don't have a strong back right now that could lead the charge, and that's what's going to hurt them. Brock Purdy, I'm not a big fan of him, but he makes good plays when needed. But the heart and soul comes from the backfield for the 49ers because of how their offense is set up. So I think 49ers, the 49ers be okay, but I don't think they'll be the team that everybody think they were or how they were last year because of the simple fact they don't have Christian McCaffrey. And the Seahawks, they stink. I don't think they good at all. I don't think the Seahawks are good at all. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just think the first 3 games that they won were kind of flukes. As you can see, they lost to the Giants last week, who didn't have their number 1 receiver in Daniel Jones. So it's like,
I mean the first 3 wins they got, Broncos, Patriots, Dolphins, and I think the Dolphins win was after Tua got hurt. After that, they got spanked by the Lions. Like you said, they lost to the Giants, and now they lost to the 49ers. So they're on a 3-game losing streak. I don't know, man. That NFC West is always a very interesting division because there are always like weird moments where, like right now, y'all as the Rams are 1-4, they can turn around and go on a 6-game win streak just out of nowhere. That division is always the Wild West for real. Like it's always been like that. The 49ers have kind of been the mainstays for quite some time now. But like you said, they weren't as strong. Ultimately, the way that they were able to put this game away was because they got 3 turnovers. Geno throws 2 picks. Seattle has a fumble, and that's ultimately what puts them in a position. You take those turnovers away, and it's a completely different ball game. You potentially are talking about the 49ers losing or it being a much closer ball game, a much closer finish for them to have to win. I do believe that Brock Purdy is continuing to find a way to make plays. And when you have a guy like that under center for you, that his responsibility is all about just, I'm going to get the ball to my play. Like it was one play that he did a play action fake and he threw it to Deebo Samuels and Deebo did the rest. It was like a 70-something yard touchdown. He didn't have to throw that ball far at all. He just had to get it to Deebo Samuel and he did the rest. Like when you have all those pieces, when you have him, you have a Christian McCaffrey, you have a Brandon Ayuk, you have a George Kittle. Like when you have pieces like that, bro, all you got to do is go out there and not turn the football over. And that's exactly what he did tonight. And so that's their winning formula. That's what's going to make them always be in position to win ball games. And that's ultimately what is going to put them in a position to potentially be the winners of the NFC West towards the end of the season. So when you look at, I guess, the NFC as a whole, like, is it not necessarily wide open, but is it an interesting place to be in right now? Because, I mean, you look at the Vikings are undefeated. The Commanders are 4-1. And then from there, it's kind of just pretty much, I mean, then you got Detroit 3-1, Dallas 3-2. And then from there, it's kind of pretty much everybody else. I know it's still early, but do you feel like the NFC is pretty much wide open in terms of who's the true Super Bowl contender?
I definitely do. I think Minnesota comes out as the number 1 seed, but I don't think they'll go far in the playoffs. I think anybody could beat anybody, just like how we talk about college football. But for the NFC, I think it's so wide open because every team, every team has their strengths and weaknesses. But I think, like for the Vikings, I think what Detroit could do, I think Detroit could knock them out easily. For Detroit, I think Philadelphia could knock them out easily. Philadelphia, I think San Fran could knock them out easily. So it's like, It could keep going. In San Fran, I think Green Bay could beat San Fran. So I just think that it's wide open in that sense. But I think that with scheduling, I think that the Vikings can go to and be the number one seed coming out the NFC. But I don't think it means anything because, like I said, anybody could beat anybody in the NFC. So I don't think the number one seed means anything at all on that side of the bracket.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you with that. As long as Minnesota continues to click right now, because Sam Darnold is playing at an MVP, comeback player of the year, he is playing lights out right now. And as long as he continues to get the ball to Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, all his playmakers and stuff, they're gonna continue to do what they're doing. But it's like you said, the rest of those seedings, where as long as you get in and you're playing good football there at the end of the season, that is all that matters. Right now, the 49ers being a 500 team, as long as they can continue to kind of ride this momentum, I think that we'll be able to see what they'll be made of once we get to the end of the season, going into the postseason. And I think that we'll be in for a pretty good playoffs, man, in the postseason. It'll be exciting to see what it looks like. See, we got 4 people on stream right now. If you're on Facebook right now, if you could do me a favor, go down in the comments, click that link, and subscribe to the Fitz Take Podcast YouTube channel. We appreciate y'all for hopping on stream for us and continuing to, show us the love that you've given us with the 111 subscribers that we have at this point right now. We're also simultaneously streaming on my Facebook page and on the Fitz Take Podcast Instagram page. So I don't know how all of those viewers are breaking down or things like that, but we appreciate all of y'all that have watched. The last thing before we go, we are revealing our winner for our giveaway. We said that once we got to 100, that we would announce who had won the gift card. And we're revealing that it's also a $50 gift card. We ain't trying to break the bank for nobody. We ain't got it like that yet, but we do want to show our appreciation. So with that in mind, Elijah, can I get a drum roll?
DeWan Johnson!
Shout outs to you, DeWan, and for people that'll say, because some people are gonna say, "Oh, it's your coworker, y'all work together." I put this wheel that hold up. There we go. Y'all probably can't see that. Let me see. It's a picture of a wheel, whatever. I put it in a wheel randomizer, and I spun the wheel. Do I still have it pulled up? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna share my screen. Where it said, share screen, wheel of names, share. Y'all see that? I put it all in a wheel, and I spun the wheel, and that's how we got DeWan's name to come out of it to pick the winner. So it was a ton of y'all, because I looked at all of our subscribers that we could see, and then the people that commented and all those things like that. But DeWan, you are the winner. So I don't know if she's watching this right now, but I'm probably gonna text her in a little bit. It's 10:49. She probably done with her producing her show. So we will get that to her in some kind of way. So y'all don't be salty or nothing like that. Just be happy for her right now. And when we give our next giveaway, you probably will be entered once again to have that chance to win as well. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we've been on stream for about 49 minutes now. We appreciate y'all so much for tapping in for another live edition of the Fitz Take Podcast. We will be back with another episode on Monday as the Saints will be playing the Buccaneers. We'll have that in the show. But tonight we talked about Spencer Rattler being QB1, Cam Newton signing his deal with ESPN. We talked about J. Cole dropping Port Antonio, and lastly, the 49ers beating the Seahawks here on Thursday Night Football. So with that, you guys be sure to like this video. Be sure to follow us on all our social media platforms. If you're on YouTube, go down in the description and follow us there. Follow my production company. All that stuff is linked down there in the description. ONEWAY Productions is the production company that gets all of this done for us, works everything for us, the whole setup and the whole shebang. That is the hub for it. Follow me, follow Elijah on our social media platforms. Continue to rock with us as we continue to try to put out great content for you guys. We appreciate y'all once again for watching another edition of the Fitz Take Podcast here on stream, and we will see y'all next time.